Hi. Okay, sisters. Are you ready? Are you ready? Hold on. I got a discussion to have for you today. And the question is really simple. Do you love men? I'm not asking if you're bi. I'm not asking if you play for the other side. I'm asking simply, do you like the male gender? The one that God made for you. Actually, you're made for him, but that's a whole question. Welcome to Call for Wisdom. My name is Deborah, and here we're going to have a little Bible study and a review with some YouTube and some TikTok content creators just going over what they think. But have you noticed recently through the years, my sisters, that there has been an overall disdain or distaste in our mouth given to us by society, by the environment, by our work places, our interactions with men as you're dating men, as you hang out with them in social events, that generally speaking, modern women tend to not like men so much anymore. We have been programmed to think that they are not equal to us. And all these buzzwords like, I want a partner, it kind of gives you the idea that they're on the same level. But in reality, when I hear my sisters talk, and I'm talking to y'all believing women, the way that they talk and describe men, it's with a lot less respect than my grandparents had. It's as if we're talking about little boys, inferior people that we call humans, but they're so much less than us. And we have this entitlement and this little pride on our shoulders. And because I'm talking to the sisters, we're talking real talk here. I'm not talking to the men. I'm talking to you and me and all of us who have female autonomy. The real women. Do you love men? That's the question. That's the big question of the day. But let's see what happens. Let me see what she has to say about it here.
Men. Feminism is not man hating. Just because you're a feminist, it doesn't mean you hate men. Feminism isn't about hating men. Feminism is not man hating. Just because you're a feminist, it doesn't mean you hate men. You don't have to hate men to become a feminist. Feminism don't hate men. You don't have to hate men to be a feminist. Feminism is not about hating men. And you've said it so many times and they still don't listen. So now
Yeah.
you just kind of hate I mean, just a little bit. You just hate them a little bit. It's really hard not to. Have you seen them? Oh, it's so hard not to. And I know some of you are like, well, not all men. And of course, it's all men. Literally every single one of them. Hate them, hate them, hate them. Someone was like, what about your dad? Especially my dad. That's why I'm up here. All men. Ew, ugh, hate them all, hate them all. And I know that this is a bit offensive to some men in the audience. But to you, I just want to say, cheer up, love. Like, it's banter. Feminism isn't about hating men.
Well, that's what they keep on saying. I guess if you repeat it long enough, you might not believe it. Because it is about hating men. It's envied men. It's like more than hating men. Feminism, in my understanding of it, is beyond finding equality with men. It's beyond fighting for the right to work or the right to have equal pay for the positions that you're not actually doing equally. It's beyond that. It's now come to the point where you want to be superior to a man. You think of yourself as higher than him in authority. You envy his place that y'all gave him. And that's where I'm telling you, my sisters, that the devil and the environment and the society that we're living in has made us not like Adam anymore. It's like y'all created Adam first, gave him a mission, put him on a plan, and then he created Eve for Adam. So here Eve is created, boom, and there's a man waiting for her. She didn't have to go hunting, no dating apps involved, nothing like that. Adam's completely made, already doing his business, and you were made for the man. And then you're like, but I don't like him. But I don't like, he's so different. I don't like him. He's so aggressive. He's so strong. He's narcissistic. He has to tell me what to do. He's teaching me the Torah. I'm under him. I don't like this deal. I don't like men. That's what I'm hearing from the sisters. But that's who you were created for, to submit to to be on mission with, to help support, to bear children. Yeah, basically all that. And feminism will not stand for biblical patriarchy because biblical patriarchy is going contrary to the world and to all this talk that's going on, that somehow men are in a kind of a social battle with us, and we're wondering who's winning. But at the end, you know what? If we don't submit, we're going to lose. And so the love is what I'm going at here now. I just want us to take a little time, just you and I, for a few minutes, and let's really sit with it, especially my single sisters, but also my married sisters. This is to encourage you because Timothy told me, as an older elder woman, that I need to encourage you how to love your husbands, right? And part of learning how to love your husbands is to sit with yourself and say, do I love men in general? Like, do I like men? And a lot of times we like to say, well, quickly, I kind of put up with my father because it all starts there. My brother, he was a nuisance. Then it goes downhill about your uncles, and they're not in your life. And then you go start listening to exes. And because that they are exes, it's usually very bad things to say about them, right? And then it just gets worse down the line. Generally speaking, do you love men? And we're going to go through the episode. And at the end, I'm going to give a little checklist of a few things you might want to consider, right? But let's start from the beginning. Yah has an order, a design, and guess what? It works. But when we step out of the order, we get chaos, right? So 1 Corinthians 11, verse 3 says, but I want you to realize the head of every man is Christ, and the head of the woman is man, and the head of Christ is Yah. And now tell me why society is fighting this so hard is because they are against Torah, right? Because Yah set his order, he put it down in the book, in the Bible. But society is fighting that. We don't want to obey Yah's commands. We want to go the opposite direction. If we trust Yah's order of salvation, why not his order for relationships, right? As believers, we know that Yeshua died for our salvation. That was the order. Yah sent his own son, sacrificed his son for our salvation. But we're fighting the order he set for marriage and for our protection as women within the headship of our fathers and the heads over us. Right? So you don't have to be married to be under submission. All of us females should have a head over us. And that is so crucial because Yah knew our nature. He made us. But ladies, when we reject male leadership, when we fight against the order of Yah and think that we know better, we can do better. The man is stupid. The man is less than me. I'm smarter than him. I know better how to do this. He is inferior as a father. He's inferior as a husband. He's inferior as a leader. He's inferior as a brother. You go down the list. Somehow we know what a good man is, and we know how we know we can be a better father. We think we can be a better boss. We think we know everything better than the man. And whatever the man does, it's never good enough. No, 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 no. Because we don't really love men. I said it, right? We don't love men. Sit with that. Sit with that a little bit and think, is the cultural influence that you've been upbringed with or groomed with, is that changing your understanding and your feelings about men? How I was raised in the 70s, I'm in my 50s now, is so different than what it's like now in 2025. The environment is so different. I remember, just generally speaking, as a young woman, walking around with my father, with my brothers, with my uncles. I had a lot of uncles as well, and with my father's friends and colleagues, having a great respect as a woman for these men and knowing in my heart that they are different than me, they are stronger than me, they don't respect that, even our culture, we don't call people that are older than us by their first name, so they're either uncles or brother or sir. They have some respectful title, and that was installed in me. That's part of my Caribbean culture, maybe not part of yours, but the whole point is that that underlying respect was there. I'll give you another example. Growing up, a little bit, you ladies in the 70s probably remember, or 60s and 70s, that even when it came to housework, the chores for the boys are different than the girls, and even learning to cook and to serve the men first, to offer the men drinks and service them with snacks and stuff like that, making sure that everybody's comfortable was a job that I was trained to do as a young woman. And I know it makes you feminist young girls cringe, thinking that that was slavery. That was torture. That was humiliating, having to serve a man at a young age, at all 7 and 8, having to serve, having to do these humbling things. But we didn't see it like that. I saw it as joy. I loved the approval, the gratitude, the compliments, the genuine appreciation that they would show back for serving and for being female, in a very clean, righteous way. And that fed to me the idea as when I was growing up that men are nice, men are good, men are actually, they open the door, they're very chivalrous, and you appreciate them. Had nothing to do with sexuality. It's just the fact that they were stronger, bigger than you. They looked out for you. My brothers looked out for me. My family looked out for me. My uncles looked out for me. And I was very much appreciative of that because I knew I was female and I was needing of that protection. Just a man's presence to me was valuable. Now, just a man's wallet is valuable because we rely on the presence of the policeman instead, right? We have exchanged the presence of a man for the fireman, the policeman, the army, the plumber, the gardener, if you need one, for all the external hiring of the man. But so you no longer need them, you think, although you're still using them. But the one in front of you, you don't appreciate anymore for his presence, for his authority, and his leadership. I ask you if you love men because men are natural leaders. And I know we think we are, but we are not natural leaders. We are natural followers. That's how Yah made women in general. It doesn't mean a woman can't lead, especially women and children and, teaching. That's what we do. But we do not have the authority to lead like a man because Yah gave us the position of submitting under the headship of a man. So we make great follow sheep. He's a shepherd, we are the sheep, we follow. And we do a really good job of that if we submit to it. And we can be very helpful if we don't fight it. We can actually live in peace. You know that word called peace? The 70s? Chill out, peace, girl. Tell you, things are not so bad. But let's see what the other sisters have to say about all that. Let me just see, because I know not all of you will agree with me. So I found a few other people had a few other things to say about it. Let's hear what they got to say. Going right back to
Dive deep it. A lot of men don't like that. Dive deep it. A lot of men don't like that. They don't like to see women happy. And a lot of men, and the healthy men do. So they will do what it needs to be done to make sure she's happy because he knows that if my woman is happy, I'm happy because she's going to make sure everything around me. You've deep it. A lot of men don't like that. They don't like to see women happy. And a lot of men, and the healthy men do. So they will do what it needs to be done to make sure she's happy because he knows that if my woman is happy, I'm happy because she's going to make sure everything around me.
so you see this attitude that we think a man is a good man if he makes us happy. If his mission in life is to make me happy, then I am happy, according to this sister over here. Because a lot of women think the same way. This is not good. I mean, I don't think she's agreeing, but she's just saying that women do that. And I agree with her. Women do see men as a way of getting things and a way of meeting our own emotional needs. So if I'm feeling sad, stressed, had a long day, I'm kind of concerned about him seeing another person. I want his assurance that he has my full. His life revolves around me. I want to make sure that his whole life revolves around me. And so if I don't feel that that is so, I'm not happy. And his responsibility is when he hears me say the term, I am not happy, or I don't feel like you appreciate me, something has to change. about him, because he's failed as being a man, because the whole purpose of man in the modern Western feminist ideology of a woman, the whole purpose of existing as a man is to serve a woman, right? That's what we have it mixed up, because ironically the whole purpose of a woman is to serve a man biblically. Ah, no. Well, welcome to Call for Wisdom. This is Deborah. You know what I'm talking about. Biblically, according to Torah, we are here to be helpmates for Adam, for men, for our husbands, for our father, for the men in our life that has Yah has to put on mission with us, right? And then you also serve the children, you help with the women. You got yourself busy serving, just like Yeshua came down to serve. He came to serve. But the world has turned around so that I want men to serve me. And if he's not serving me, he is not playing his role as a man. You see how the devil has switched it around? Like played a switcheroo? And in our head, already we're programmed. We've been watching too many Disney programs and Disney movies, and we believe this nonsense that the prince has to bow down, kiss my ring, and beg for me to marry him. Doesn't matter that he's richer than me, taller than me, stronger than me. Doesn't matter that he's a king of the prince of the whole kingdom. I want him on his knees and begging to serve me as my husband. That's not love, my sisters. That is not love. Do you love men in the role that Yah has given them to be, not the imaginary role that you are created or the world has defined them to be stuck in? Not the emasculated role that Yah, that the men are now, the modern men feel obliged to be in, but the true biblical patriarchal role of men. Do you love men in that role? Do you love men how Yah created men to be? Strong leaders, dominant leaders, loud. One need to be leaders. You know, you're in trouble. Get out of the way without any hindering of, negotiation. No negotiation. They got the last word kind of leaders. Do you love men like that? Or does that make you cringe? Roll your eyes and have to bite your tongue? Because, boy, do you hate submitting to men in general. And then I hear the sister saying, well, I only submit to my husband. And you've never submitted before, so you have no idea what that means. You never practiced on anybody else, especially not your father. So you have no idea what that means. But let's continue. Let me see if I can find another one of these blessed people to inspire us in this conversation here. Because I think that it's amazing how women think. And just bear with me because I'm just getting used to starting these presentations on TikTok and YouTube and all that fun stuff.
We women, we also
Let's see.
men don't like women who do this. Men don't like women who are loud. Men don't like who. My friend, shut up. We women, we also don't like men who breathe. Because as a man, why are you breathing? Men don't like women who do this. Men don't like women who are loud. Men don't like who. My friend, shut up. We women, we also don't like men who breathe. Because as a man, why are you breathing?
I know you think this is a joke, but seriously, sometimes I wonder if women even like men breathing for real. As long as he doesn't just hand over the credit card, let me go shopping, do whatever I want, pays all the notes, the car bill, the water bill, the internet, the house bill, the mortgage, pays for my nails and my hair. I can sit down, get fat, gain weight, chill, or go to the gym all day, whatever which way you want to go. The sex is determined on me, how much I give him when I feel like it. The whole point is that I'm in charge. And as long as I'm in charge, he doesn't need to breathe, because you don't really like him. He's not at all somebody you look up to and admire as Yah has put him in authority over you. Over means you're looking up, not down, right? Yeah. Do you like men? This sister here, she's joking about it, but I suspect that a lot of you can resonate with that. Let's see if there's any more about that. Let's see. I'm gonna see. Let me see about this one here.
And that adds something to relationships with men will never benefit women. The money for life force exchange is not a fair one because life force is invaluable. When you are married to someone and you're sleeping with them, every time you sleep with them, the guy is getting life force from you. It doesn't matter what car he gives you, it does not matter what he buys you, what clothes you wear, whatever it is. Nothing he ever gives you can equate to what he's taking from you. It's like you going to the creator, if you believe in creation, asking for a little bit of his power, and then saying, here, God, here's some money to compensate you for what I just took. Relationships with men will never have equal exchange. Men are always taking more from you than you think. This is why a lot of women are preaching that at least get something out of it. But even if you're getting money out of it, it will never equate to what he's getting from it, which is your life force. Men know this. They won't admit it, but they know this. If you really understood this fact, you won't want to sleep with any guy. The best way for you to understand the male female relationship is to understand that men are parasites, women are hosts. That's
Really?
all it comes down to. So if you're
Wow.
gonna pick a parasite, make sure it's one that does not derail your health and
Uh,
that adds something to you. But at the end of the day, there's nothing a guy can do that can equate to what he's getting from you. The name is Shido. I'm your personal emotional intelligence detective, always keeping it real. Follow from our talk, you won't regret it. Relationships with
really?
men.
Wow. So she went really far. She said that men are parasites and women are the hosts and men only sap your energy like a vampire energy. And then we're so precious. We're so precious. We got so much energy to give them. But they just take. Oh, it's so negative. All this negativity. Now sit with that, my sisters, because she's extreme. That's true. But is there any little bit of what she said that you can resonate with? That you were secretly saying, "Uh-huh, I agree. Uh-huh, I agree." Let's read some of the comments. Let's see who else was agreeing with all that. Let me just check it out here. What do the comments say about her little situation here? One of them says, unrelated and related, a lot of women who are creatives have expressed that they separate themselves from their men in their lives when they want to be creative again. They literally abstain from men. So they're saying they're agreeing because if they want to create art, and I'm an artist too, they cannot be around a man because the men are draining. So this whole concept of item that men are a negative energy and taking away from your creative energy, even that. Amazing. Another one says, genius question. Does that mean you're giving them like years of your life, like filling him with life while you're losing it? Yeah, because you said that men are the parasites. Like, are they sucking up your little youthful life? You're 25. Is he becoming like younger because he's sucking your energy? This is how modern women think of men, my sisters. This is how modern women are thinking of men. Another one says here, I separated from my husband in 2021. I'll never feel so light and pretty in my entire life again. I told him I would be able to get back together with him because I'd need to sleep in separate rooms. So she left her husband. She was feeling good, she says. The other one says, sorry, but this is true. I don't look older than my age, 22, but I used to look very younger and more full. So she's saying, this other woman is saying that she agrees because when she was now with the man, she looks older. My sisters, whether you're with a man or no man, age doesn't care. The year 30 and up will come, and then soon you'll be like me. If you're lucky, really, life goes on and you will decline because that's how biologically we age like milk. And that is not insulting to say. You cannot hold on to your youthful looks all your life. When you were 18, you're going to be different by the time you're 28. You're going to be different when you're 38. When you're 48 and 58, it's going to go downhill from there. And it has nothing to do with men. You can be celibate. You can be a nun. You can, hide yourself all you want. It has nothing to do with men. But this whole blaming of men for sapping your divine energy is ridiculous. Now, okay, coming back, we're speaking to sisters, and you all know that this is all rubbish. But is there a little bit of this in your mind? There is 4 warning signs you may be struggling with thinking that you don't like men. Like some warning signs that maybe you don't like men so much. It doesn't mean you're going on the other side, but I'm just saying maybe. So I'm going to go through them. If you cross out 3 out of the 4, you got serious problems and you need to seek the Lord. And we'll talk about that too. But let me just go through it. Okay. All right. Let's do a heart check. If you can find in yourself, okay, that, oops, that's me, to more than one, just more than one of this, keep check. Okay. The number 1 is poor relationships with your father. If you can't even think of your dad without feeling tight in the chest, you might have some unresolved daddy issues that will lead to you hating, generally speaking, men. It is scientifically, psychologically proven that women with daddy issues had a bad time with their fathers tend to not look at men in good light because he was your first father. So it's a big impact. Right now, for whatever reason, I don't care. It could be any reason why you feel this way. He was abusive, he wasn't there, your mother spoke garbage about him, you believed her, he was, I don't know, but whatever reason the absentee was and the relationship fell, if you don't have a good relationship with your father, there's great chances that generally speaking, you don't like men. And you got to get that out. You have to really get that in you. Search, search, search. Number 2, difficulty in showing genuine warmth to men in general. Okay. If a man holds open the door for you and you just roll your eyes and expect him to do so, like you're the Queen of Sheba, and you don't say thank you, we got to talk, sister. Now, I know that a lot of you will say, oh, I don't do that. But really? Because especially in the Caribbean, my Caribbean sisters, when Auntie Debbie starts putting down her glasses, you know you're in trouble. Because when I go to the grocery stores and I go to the shops around my little island, I see a lot of sassiness going on with my sisters. I don't smile to you unless I physically think you are cute. If the cashier doesn't think the man is cute, she ain't going to smile. If she's having a bad day, she's not going to smile. If she thinks that he is too flirty or whatever, she's not going to smile. And Caribbean men are flirty, okay? I mean, decently flirty. But a smile is not going to kill you. But if you have male disdain, like you don't like men in general, it's too much effort to smile. It's too much effort to say, have a good day. It's too much effort to wish him well wishes because you're giving too much. It's like being the queen and the peasants are just so annoying. Like I only deal with kings and above. But the gardener and the plumber and the guy over there doing whatever he's doing with the water over there, he is just not worth my time. And so I will be a little bit cocky about that and not bother to smile. Sisters, we got to stop this attitude. But in your heart, if that is there, that is a spiritual thing that needs to be plucked out in order for you to genuinely respond well. So I don't want you to fake it either, although faking it till you make it does work. But the heart needs to change, right? The negative feelings towards, that's the third point. The negative feelings towards your ex might say a lot about how you feel about men in general. Now, as a counselor myself, I've heard a lot of stories about exes, lots of stories, sad stories. You know, I can understand sometimes it really is the woman's fault, sometimes it's not the woman's fault. But the point is that if you cannot get over your ex for whatever reason and you're holding on to bitterness, you're holding on to the fact that you think he's still unsuitable to be even communicated with because maybe he's your daddy, baby's daddy, especially single mothers. Like if you have a child with a man, you opened your legs, you had sex, you bared a baby with him, and now you can't stand his ass. That might have something to do with the fact that you don't like men in general, and he just topped it up. He just pushed you to the extreme. Because now when I tell my sisters, you might want to consider reconnecting with the man, the baby daddy, because you got a family going on here. I hear the ick. I see the rolling eye. I see the disdain. I see the gag reflex. Like, ugh, never. I would never. Me never. Never, never, ever, 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 never. My sisters, really, that deep down disdain is beyond your ex. That has something to do with the fact that you have to deal with men in general. Do you care for men? Because a lot of times, the reason why it didn't work out with your ex, if you were honest, is because the man was a man. The man was aggressive. The man was telling you what to do. He was giving you advice you didn't want, you didn't ask for, you didn't need. He was telling you how to run your life. You thought he was controlling. He was raising his voice. You thought he was being aggressive. He was raising his voice because you were not listening, you were not obeying. So he matched your energy. But when a man matches your energy, it surpasses your energy because he's stronger than you. So you got in arguments all the time, and the arguments were unnecessary if you were a submissive woman, but you're not a submissive woman. So you kept on clashing with the man. And now he's your ex, but you're pregnant. You got pregnant. Okay, voila. But the point is, you're going to go to the same man, another man with another, shape, but he's still a man. We're having the same main characteristics of man, still not telling you where he's going, what he's doing, still interested in other women, right? Because, hello, welcome to Call for Wisdom. I support biblical polygyny. The man has the biblical option of having another woman. So when he goes and looking and scouting and seeing another sheep, not bad. She's okay, checking her out. You're already checking out of the relationship. You're like, I left this man because he had eyes on another woman, or he was seeing another woman, or another story about another woman. And there you go, you're out, right? And for that reason, you hate men in general. And you think all men are trash and all men are cheaters and all men are good for nothing and nobody can stay faithful, you think, because your definition of faithful is based on the world's definition, not on the biblical definition. And because of all this confusion, now your ex is the symbol of men, and you hop from one bad relationship to the next. And the more body counts you get, the more you hate men. It's all about that. So, poor relationships with the father, difficulty showing genuine warmth to men, negative feelings towards your exes. The fourth one is resistance to male leadership. And I kind of covered it the last time. But if you have an inch, always fighting, that's when you have to say your say. It's like, I cannot sit there. I just cannot sit there. I always know better than the man. And maybe you do. Like maybe your idea is genuinely better. But that's not the point. You said when y'all put the order of things, he didn't give Eve an exception clause. He didn't tell her to submit only when she agrees with him. There is no clause like that. And just like we submit to the Most High for all things, we submit to Yeshua in all things. This is the same way we submit. In the same way we submit to the men over us, our husbands, our father over us, right? In the same manner. It is not because the person is perfect. It's not because his leadership necessarily is making the right decisions about everything, because it's not always going to be so. It is because it's commanded to do so, and because we're doing it out of love. They call LOVE, love, a way of loving. Because if you love me, Yeshua said, you will keep my commandments. Now, I'm going to say something that might sound a little bit blasphemous, but it's not. If you love your husband, you'll keep his commandments. Should I say that again like a pastor? Did I hear an amen? I know, I probably didn't say it well. If you love your husband, you will keep his commandments, like his rules, his order, his wishes, because that is how we show we love. So I asked you in the beginning of the show, do you love men? And to answer that question, I gotta hear it. Are you obeying? Are you submitting? Are you obeying and submitting and doing it with the right loving attitude of, yeah, because I like to do that because it's my pleasure to serve you. And no, I don't want anything back in return. No, you don't need to hand me the credit card. No, you don't need to pay for a trip to Dubai. No, I don't need hair and nails. I love you because it comes from my heart, and this is what Yeshua told me to do. And just like I love my master, Yeshua, I love my husband. Love is obeying. Love is serving. Love is not about feelings. So if you say you love your husband and you love men in general, the question is, are you willing to submit to the leadership position of which they are in over you? And the last one, right? So I said, I'll give you five. The last one is your circle is full of male bashers. If you have a group of women, especially single women that you're hanging out with who hate men too, if all your girlfriends talk about is men ain't ish, you are feeding that spirit of junk, junk, junk. You're going to hate men. You're going to hate men. You cannot tell me you're hanging out with a group of women that hate men, but you're the exception. No, I don't do that. I personally try to hang around sisters who support my philosophies on Bible, on and Torah. And I do have friends that are married, and not all of them are Torah observant, but they also very much respect men and they love the men in their lives. And I like hanging around women who like men. I'm not talking about sexually like men and doing the twerking. Okay, I'm talking about genuinely like them, like brothers. And I have so many uncles and so many family members that are male, and I appreciate every one of them. And it just, you guys, please stay alive. Don't die, because I've had enough funerals for the year. But in the meanwhile, I mean, every one of them have something essence to bring in my life. And the main essence you modern women in general don't understand because men have been reduced to a piece of bread in this society. Unless they can provide bread for you and take you to dates and dinners, you don't know the value of men. But my grandfather couldn't do that. He didn't have restaurants to go to here on the island that we grew up in. He doesn't have all that fancy movies and malls to go to. There was a farm and there was children at home and there's church and there's a place to hang out and play dominoes. So there's nothing fancy. So you're answering, what is a man good for? Well, he would say, my grandfather would say, well, leadership. I lead the family. I teach them the word. He used to pray for us. He used to provide for us. He used to teach us all kinds of moral lessons and integrity. He was a man of leadership and respect in the community, and he was a protective man. You felt safe in the presence of him and all the uncles and all the brothers and all the men. As a woman, they were our security guard. They were our plumbers. They were our handymen. They were our guidance. When we did stupid things, they would correct us. They would give us advice. They were our wise men, elder men. I sought them for all those purposes. Nothing to do with sex. Now it's only about two things: sex and money, the credit card and the rest. Nonsense. But men are men are more valuable than that. That's just not what Yah created men for. So if you don't love men, and normally it's because you don't accept the role that Yah made them and who they are as creatures, who Yah made them to be. I ask you these questions, my sister, and I pray for those of you who are lost in the way. I pray that your heart may be checked with Psalms 139, verse 23 to 24 says, search me, God, and know my heart. Test me and know my anxious thoughts. See if there is any wicked way in me and lead me in the way everlasting. So we have to ask the Lord for that. And in Matthew chapter 6, verse 14 to 15 says, for if you forgive other people when they sin against you, your heavenly Father will also forgive you. But if you do not forgive others their sins, your Father will not forgive your sins. And I say that for your sisters who got hurt by men. Maybe your father back then, and that's why you're bitter now. Maybe your ex, maybe some boyfriend. Hmm? There has to be some counseling and some deep down prayer and fasting to take away the bitterness and to seek Yah for righteous, clean forgiveness, not an ounce of bitterness or unforgiveness left. Go to the Most High for that. So that's Matthew chapter 6, 14 to 15. Stop watching and listening to any anti man propaganda. And that could be found in songs and TikTok and YouTube and movies, like really all the time. And you're getting subconsciously programmed to hate men and to think negatively of men, and to think of men as beneath you, right? Now, you might be accusing the manosphere as doing the opposite, but I'm not talking about them. I'm talking about you and me. We sisters, we Torah observant, we Bible believing sisters. You and I need to watch what we consume and who, next one is, who we hang around. The women in our circle. Pick and wisely. Go around the ones that support biblical patriarchy. Go around the ones that support loving your husbands. The ones that when you say you had an argument, and which you shouldn't really be talking about your husbands to other sisters like that, but let's say you confide in them, do encourage you to go back home. The sisters will tell you, you know what? The Bible says you need to submit and we'll send you back packing. The ones that will be honestly true to the word. Proverbs 27:17 says, as iron sharpens iron, so one person sharpens another. I want you to sharpen each other as sisters. And this was actually pertaining to men, but we sisters can also sharpen each other in the word. And that's what I'm doing right now. And most likely, as you're growing, you will learn to be more and more submissive, but you have to start somewhere. Maybe right now you have a father, you got to practice on your father. You have a head over you got to practice there. And then check with yourself. When you look at your relationship with them, make it your incentive to learn how to obey and submit. Because if you love him, you will keep his commandments. That is how we love. Love is not about feelings. It's not about how you woke up today and how you felt about them, because feelings change. Feelings, they change. Some days you're high, some days you're low, some days, you don't know what to do with yourself. So submit to Yah's order, whether it is in marriage or it's at home, right? So, ladies, if you're still here and you're either mad at me and you don't know what this message was fully about because you don't follow the Torah, I suggest you get to it. Torah means the Bible, the Old Testament, especially the commands of Yah. You've got to learn to memorize them and to follow them. Either way, I love you. More importantly, I want you to obey Yah's commandments and get back into the order of things. If this message touched you, please leave a comment. Please subscribe and share. Thank you so much for bearing with me and call for wisdom. And I will see you very soon. Blessings, my sisters, and all the best.